Hi guys, it's Adrian and Michael, and we're here to recap the week of Cycle Oregon, where we rode our bike for 7 days in a row. We rode 470 miles out of a possible 490, and so we're going to give you the highlights of the week. So we start off with not day one, but with day 0, where we started in Bly. That was where we camped the first night before riding, and we got the call of not one but 2 packs of coyotes singing us to sleep, which was really cool. And we were underneath a huge bowl of stars out there. As the sign says, Bly is about 6 miles east of the end of the world. So that was really cool. And then we got up on day 1 and we rode from Bly to Silver Lake. Don't know if you can see this, but it was 70 miles and 3,860 feet of elevation gain. And the highlight of that was my realization that there are no Dave Matthews Band fans on this ride. I pretty much went through this 7 stages of death and dying and learning all about the Cycle Oregon fans. Cycle Oregon riders not being DMV fans. I had a license plate that said Fire Dancer on it, and we're going to do another short film about all the hilarious quotes I got, none of which were references to Dave Matthews. So then we got into Silver Lake. We had a great campground, and the next day we went to Fort Klamath, and that was 81 miles, 2,600 feet of elevation gain. And the highlight of that day was going through this beautiful marshland called the Klamath Basin Marshlands. It's a national refuge for wildlife, and at mile 43 it just started to get absolutely gorgeous, and we had a beautiful lunch spot there. And then we arrived in Fort Klamath, and it was a gorgeous valley we were in. We got to hear from the rancher that was there, and the rancher told us that there's only 2 other places with this fertile ground for cattle grazing, and that is in the Pyrenees and in New Zealand. So we were very lucky to be there. And then day 3...
Camp next to cows. Camp next to cows.
Michael wants me to tell you that we camped next to some cows that were amused by us. I unfortunately did not get any pictures of those cows, but they were very welcoming cows. Day 3 was the highlight of the entire trip, and that was up to Crater Lake. So we camped in Fort Klamath, rode our bikes up to Crater Lake, and on that day we rode 88 miles, 6,800 feet of elevation gain. There are no flat roads around that rim of Crater Lake, but it puts you in a dreamlike state because it is a little bit of heaven on earth. And then we rode into Prospect that night, and we camped there at a high school, and we got to get up the next morning and not have another easy day. We had 75 miles, 5,800 feet of elevation gain, and there were some pretty stout climbs going into Ashland that day. And we ended it with a steep descent down Dead Indian Memorial Highway, and it was beautiful being able to look out and see the Siskiyou Mountains there past Ashland as we rode down. But we were reminded that we were going to be riding back up that hill on Friday. So thanks to Michael Brown, we got into Ashland and stayed at a wonderful hotel where we had to use flush toilets and take hot showers in a spacious bathroom and sleep on nice fluffy beds for 2 nights to prepare us for the ascent up Dead Indian Memorial Highway on Friday, which was a 13-mile climb.
Rest day. We did a short ride.
Rest day. We did have a rest day in Ashland, and we got to do a short ride. It was an optional ride. The total ride would have been 46 miles. We ended up doing 23, which took us halfway up Mount Ashland, and a little over 2,000 feet of elevation gain. And it's also where I got these earrings from my new jeweler, who is also a bike mechanic. These are made out of cables of the bike. And so anyway, we climbed up on day 5, on day 6. We climbed up out of Ashland to Klamath Falls, 65 miles, 5,614 feet of elevation gain. So yet another hard day. The first 13 miles of the climb up Dead Indian Memorial Highway, which was amazing, hard, but rewarding at the end to know that we did it. And we got into Klamath Falls, and we had not just a nice place to camp, but a beautiful welcome from that city. They gave us a fireworks display that was beyond any I've ever seen before. And we rested very softly on the grounds there to wake up the next morning to finish our ride, Klamath Falls to Bly, Oregon. Ended the ride with 64 miles, 2,100 feet of elevation gain. Last day, the highlight was the finish. It's done, and we completed 470 miles. And according to Jonathan Nichols, the organizer of Cycle Oregon, he said this was in the top 10 toughest Cycle Oregons. They've done 25, as you can see, and this was one of the top 10 toughest, and we did it. So there you have it.